Hey everybody! We are live with the first ever Boise Business Spotlight. My name is Autumn and I am the host of Adventure Boise, and I am super excited for our first guest on this first ever Boise Business Spotlight, and that is going to be Kaysi with Tatorjo, Idaho Apparel. And we are going to be inviting her on to talk about her business. She started this less than a year ago, and she has grown it significantly. It started off as kids' clothes, and now it is expanding into adult brands. She gives back to the community, and she's growing this awesome brand locally. So I'm super stoked to invite her on. Let me just get her invited. Watching and who's coming to support local. I am turning off the comments though because I am easily distracted, and so I don't want to be looking at the comments while also interviewing Kaysi. But let's welcome Kaysi with Tatorjo, Idaho Apparel. Thank you, Kaysi, for being here. Oops, sorry. Can you hear me? Okay, awesome. Well, welcome ever to the first ever Boise Business Spotlight. We're super stoked you're here. And we want to hear all about your business and kind of your business story. So I'm going to let you kind of start.
So I am the owner of Tatorjo, and I have been open a little over 10 months. I'm going on 11 months in the middle of September, and it's been a wild ride. I have been, I started out, if you've been with me since the beginning, then you were here when I was the kids' clothing line. So when I started, I just wanted to do kids, and a lot of that had to do with where my boys what my boys are into. We are just we as a family believe that being outside is the best thing for kids. And not only just for kids, I think our society is getting a little bit more outside than they need to be. And so we don't do a lot of technology in our home. We definitely just like to go outside as much as we can, even if that's in our backyard. It's not like we have to go on adventures. And so I wanted to start clothing line that was focused on outside and inspiring kids to get outside. We, as you know, have an awesome playground in Idaho, and so it's just incredible. Yeah. So I started with it's evolved a lot, but I started with this mission that I want to encourage people to get outside and explore Idaho and get their kids outside, no matter what's going on. It's definitely evolved because I quickly had people request for adult apparel. And so
I'm wearing one of the shirts. So for everyone on, it's super comfy, super cute. Definitely recommend getting one.
Autumn, thanks for your support. Yeah. So it's evolved into something I never even, and it's going to keep evolving. And I think I've definitely going with the flow, figuring it out. But I also am trying to still make sure I'm staying with what I believe in, which I don't know if that's I just really want to encourage people to get. But I love having cute apparel. I think that's I have a different style that is fun, cute. And so now we have, kids and we have adult, and people love the matching. That's one thing requested a lot. So that's kind of how it started. It started as kids, and I think I was a few weeks in and everyone said, "When's your adult coming out?" And I was like, "What? Adult?" And everyone wanted matching hoodies. And so that's what I started with, and it's evolved a lot. So.
And what did you have I haven't asked this, did you have a background in sales, or what made you jump into apparel? That's
yeah. So I've always kind of joked, my husband and I have joked a lot, we can make a shirt like that. We can make one, so mainly just about I started just kind of randomly, I would design my boys' birthday shirt. And I think it just came from wanting them to have something that I liked. Mm-hmm. And we don't do a lot of technology and a lot of Minecraft things. My kids don't know Disney characters. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We just haven't, we might be there soon, but right now it's just not a part of our life. And so I wanted it to be, I wanted clothes. I guess I started kind of thinking of them and shopping for them. But I don't have any in sales, retail, all of it's new to me. I'm learning a lot.
So you just jumped into the deep end,
And I watched a lot of YouTube videos to build my Shopify website. And I've met a lot of amazing entrepreneurs that have I like started joining some networking events, but truthfully, I haven't met a lot of people like in retail. And so I'm still I'm learning, and it's definitely, it's definitely a big curve, and you have to keep, like, I have to keep my mind focused on like being okay with making a lot of mistakes, to be honest. Yeah.
You showed me some. I want to see some of your stuff so everyone can kind of see, because I want to see the hats and stuff because they're super cute. So
So this,
go
yeah,
ahead.
so this is called the Sawtell Peak. I was raised in eastern Idaho, and my grandparents' ranch was right below, or right above. Their ranch was right above Sawtell Peak. So this was kind of my dream when I started the brand. So I thought of it last summer. I was like, I'm gonna make this super cool hat with Idaho's on it. I've had a lot of requests for adults. So next spring and next summer, I'm sure we'll be coming out more of this kind of style with the Idaho's on it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my dream. And then I'll show you like the first couple designs that I came out with. Again, I was really focused on kids. So
Yeah.
and this little one, like I have three boys. And so my little one was wearing this all last year. So again, it's definitely geared towards, I'm trying to get into the girl fashion.
It's hard when you have 3 boy models and a husband. I get that when you're like,
and so I have a lot of friends with girls, and for them, they are kind of, I'll be like, hey, is this, because like you automatically think pink, and it's not always that, right? So I get a lot of, and so that's always nice. Yeah.
well, it's fun. So if people aren't following you, they should, because you model your boys in all your stories. And so it's super cute to see them, especially I think the last few weekends I've obviously been following you. And to see the boys out in the woods with their really cute shirts on. I love that they model for you. Like, that's awesome. They're like, all right, mom's taking more pictures.
Yeah, they're really good at it. There was a phase they said no, but now like even my little one puts his hands on his pockets, and he's like getting a cute little pose down. So yeah, if you join my stories, you'll get my little one. So it's pretty fun.
Oh, that's awesome. And then talking about your workstation. So I know wanted to share pictures. Obviously, I couldn't on here, but so you have like a home workstation. Do you do all the designing and packing in your home station, or how does that work with your business?
Yeah, so I'm just in my garage. And so if you do follow me on my stories too, like I do every once in a while show it, just to encourage people that you don't need a fulfillment center, like you don't need anything fancy. I'm in the corner of my garage that my husband has started kind of creating into his man cave. I took it over. It's now my fulfillment center. And so it's my happy place. But yeah, so it's just in the corner of my garage. I've got some good shelves. I've had to like definitely expand because I've expanded my line a lot. But yeah, it's nothing too fancy. There's 49 here everywhere because my husband likes the Niners. And so, but yeah, so it's in the corner. I have a lot of kids at my feet. I pack orders a lot. Kids go to bed, but if I need to do it during the day, usually they're just out there with me hanging out. My oldest one likes to help out, so that's been really fun for him to see that. He definitely knows what's going on in this world of a business. He's watching, so that's fun.
That's awesome. And you're expanding into potentially retail now too, right?
Yeah, so I have some clothes at a boutique in Eagle, and then I've had the last couple weeks, it's kind of been fun to see what happens when you let go. And I know we'll talk about entrepreneurship a little bit later, but you stress a lot about like what's going to happen, and I feel like I've had some pretty big retailer reach out to me and say that customers are requesting my stuff in their store, which
Congratulations. That's awesome.
And I wanted to go like drop a business card off a few months ago, and I was encouraged just to like let the journey unfold. And so I got an email 2 weeks, almost a week and a half ago, that was like, hey, we have customers requesting your stuff. So that's just a huge compliment, and who knows what will happen. I don't know the next steps for that, but just to have, that's just very humbling, very like encouraging to also keep going, that people, that I'm building a brand that somebody might know my name. So that's cool.
Yeah, those wins are really important. And I was going to ask you, as as an entrepreneur in Boise, do you feel like you found a good community of other entrepreneurs? You talked a little bit about that, but for someone who's jumping into this space, what would you recommend for them as far as networking and building that community goes?
So if you are just starting definitely suggest like finding an entrepreneur group. But we're really, really in this valley. There's so many. And I think that that's been one of my favorite parts for sure in this business is meeting other entrepreneurs. They're super encouraging and but also like you learn from other people so much. Even though I haven't met anyone in my exact area, um, they still can give me encouragement with social media, with my website, with reels, just like you just but also just like it's a lot of mindset. It's a lot of like not giving up, a lot of an imposter syndrome. It's a lot of that. And so meeting people that are in your shoes that, you know, can encourage you to keep going or say like, yeah, it's hard. Like, but it's like the coolest thing too. It's an energy that you can't even explain. So the entrepreneurship in Boise, there's so many. I didn't even know. And I meet these women and like, I'm just amazed at what some of these people are doing. And it's so encouraging because everyone kind of, and they're an expert in some sharing that. And that is so cool. And so networking events, tons all over the valley. I've gone to quite a few. And so you can find one that fits you, or you can just try lots of different ones. I think it's fun to go to different ones because you meet different people and they each have their own vibe. So if you are new to go to some networking events. That's my first thing you should do because it's harder than I ever imagined, but it's like the coolest thing I ever imagined too. And so you need those people in your life that are going to support you, and they can be strangers, and you'll be taking them to coffee, and it's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and now too with social media, we talked about this a little bit on the first call, was just that like you have to be a business owner and also a social media expert somehow, and also manage everything else. Were you big on social media and Instagram before your business, or is this like having to learn as you go? How have you navigated that?
Yeah, I'm definitely learning as I go. I did not have social media. I had never made a reel. Um, I I had no idea what I was jumping into. But I think that's like, it was kind of nice to know. I think it was probably a blessing to know that I was a little bit naive I was getting into because it might have maybe, I would have been maybe more hesitant, but I was like, oh, I can do it. I can make posts. And then now I think one of the biggest parts for me, the hardest part is like taking social media, not having it take away from my business of what I'm building, because it does take a lot of time. I didn't realize I was have to be a content creator
and a business owner.
and, I mean, really, if you look at other people's content, I mean, if someone like, I mean, there's your reels, like there's people that create content and I'm not that, but like, I'm trying to get better for sure because I had no idea how to do it. And I feel like I've grown a lot. So I'm very proud of myself for not giving up, but I do feel like sometimes you have to like take a break and give yourself that grace because it's way more challenging than ever in like hated, but it's gotten more fun because I'm taking the pressure off myself.
Mm-hmm.
But social
And you say you're learning, but your photos look great, and I feel like, I mean, obviously that's how I found you, and so I think that your photos look amazing. So you're definitely doing a really good job. What would you feel like is the biggest advice you can give somebody who's new to this, who's just jumping in with, social media, small business, living in the valley? If you could start all over, what's one thing that you would tell yourself or tell someone that was in your shoes that would have helped kind of speed things up for you? That was kind of, something you had to learn on your own that might have taken a little bit longer had you known something else.
I think just start. I started building my site like last July, and like I kept putting it off because I wanted everything to be perfect. And I thought like I had to come out with a lot of designs. And I wish so bad I would have maybe just started with like one or two to see like how people did them, and then like where to put my, like I just think like you can start smaller than you realize. But start. Biggest thing, if you have this creative art that you feel is like a passion, or you just feel that it can kick that little voice in your head, just make the leap, because it's not like I feel like I fear if I turn this into something else or whatever happens, I'm like so the experience that I've had in the last 10 months has been something that's been life-changing for myself, for my, and it makes you really grow as a person. So if you have anything in your heart that's like speaking to you a little bit, I think just jump and leap, and don't there's no perfection. There's no perfection even now that I'm in it. Like, I'm growing and evolving, and my why is changing, and I've had to really learn to be that it can evolve as I grow, because my business is growing, and no matter how you think it turn out, it probably will be different. But that's, letting go and following the journey. But start is the biggest thing, and then join some networking events.
And engage in the community, right? Like, that's,
Yeah.
it's crazy how supportive and awesome this community is. I mean, I just feel like everyone is so loving, so supportive. We're really lucky to live in this great area. I did want to ask you, because I know that you also give back to the community. So I want you to talk a little bit about the charity that you work with right now this year.
So this year I picked Camp River Run to work with. And so it's one of the reasons I picked them, they do work with kids, and that I'm going to continue focusing on every year is picking a nonprofit that focuses on working with children. And they provide a camp experience for kids that have medical needs. And so it's not a huge, there's a lot of big nonprofits in Idaho, but I definitely tried to find one that maybe wasn't as known. Mm-hmm. So that's I put it out on a Facebook group, send me all your nonprofits, and I kind of dove in and I just picked one that felt right. And it's going to be a hard decision every year. It's like I could do like month to month, but then I don't know. So it's still like, again, it's like evolving and learning, but giving back to the community, I think, is a passion of mine. I feel like because of where I'm at, because of the community, it's because of Idaho. It's because we get to live in this wonderful state. And like you said, the people here, I am where I am today because of the people. It's because of Idaho. And, people, someone told me about your account, or like in that retail store, like people are asking for you. Like, it's the people here, and everyone is so supportive of small business. That's been so cool. Like, I've been doing more vendor events. A lot of people, customers, and just people walking through, and the relationships that I built through that have been even more like encouraging. And just I just feel like Idaho has such a loving, friendly place to be, and it's why I love living here, and it's why I want my brand to represent the love and like that fun and just that community feel. And so I'm hoping, as I continue to focus on nonprofits, it also brings light to those nonprofits. And I used to kind of think like someday I dreamed that I would have my own nonprofit. I feel like I would like to just maybe support them and maybe support a few, or, I know it'll evolve to something else, but I have lots of different ideas I kind of want to do with that. I don't know if I should share them or not, but I don't.
So what, for you, you have a lot going on. You've grown a lot in 10 months. Obviously, it's a journey, right? Like, yeah. I get that. You start something, you have an idea of where it's going, and then you kind of veer right, veer left, and then, you kind of keep going down. You're going somewhere, but you don't really know where you're going to end up. So I totally understand that. But if you were to pick like a general direction that you're heading, goals on the horizon, what's your big goals going into this next year with your business?
Ooh. I feel like a loaded question, because there's so many different things I want, I think one of my biggest things is to make sure that I'm with what fits me and my family. I have kids. So I want to grow. I have all these dreams. I have all these dreams and all these visions and things that I almost pull the trigger on, and I don't. And so I think sticking with what for next year, my dream is to make it more manageable, I think, but also provide even more, like, I want to provide more. I didn't anticipate my hats going as well as they did, especially my adult ones. I'm getting asked more for wholesale. So I think being ahead of the game with that, I want to be better at like planning ahead. So I know that's a lot, but like, that's a loaded question that I probably just totally jumbled. But I just feel like I have so many dreams for it, but I want to make sure I'm more with it, and I like prepare for the seasons, because I'm getting asked more and more about things, and sometimes I can't provide them. So buy the shirt you have on, like I might not have it in stock right then. These, I just I'm running out of these. I just had a huge wholesale order, pretty big for me. So they're going to get gas
Oh, wow.
stations and Eagle.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I'm not like prepared to get like more prepared than that. So I want to understand that side of it a little more. And again, like I don't know anybody in that area, so a lot of it I'm just learning. And so that's a lot of entrepreneurs that don't know anything, and I'm learning as I go too. I'm really figuring it out.
Yeah. That's awesome. Now, if what is something that I didn't ask you that you want to share? Because I've asked you a lot of questions. So, what is something that I didn't ask you that you feel like you want to share with my audience, with your audience, about yourself, about your business? Because I really feel like it's fun to get to know the business, right? Like,
Yeah.
I love shopping locally, and I go to all the markets, and it's so fun to meet the owners, but we don't really get to have these types of conversations with the people behind the brand, and we don't see the blood, the sweat, the tears, all of the time that it takes to actually build these brands. We just get the product. And so I think this is really fun to actually get to know you, and for your audience to get to know you. But what is something that I didn't ask you that you want your audience, or my audience, or our audiences to know about you?
Oh man. Let's see. I feel like this is probably a little too deep, but I feel like people need to know that, like, because I get a lot that well, I don't know. I'll just start. Okay, so sorry.
You're good. That's a tough question. I know that was kind of a loaded question, and I didn't email you that ahead of time. So,
Well, I care about my brand, like my brand. I want what I want to represent, why I started it, and I just feel like one of the things that I feel like why I'm there, and why people say a lot, like, it looks like you're amazing and you're rocking it. And I feel like I am, as far as how much I didn't know. But I also feel like, just know that behind, like you said, there is a lot of like work, and there's a lot of mistakes I've made. And so if you're in an area you are so fearful of like those mistakes, just know that like I'm making them too. Like what you see on Instagram are these reels and these highlight stories, but like, just know that I'm a person too that is doesn't know anything really until I make those choices. I've heard some really good quotes lately, and I know we talked about quotes, and one of them was like, and it's kind of scary to think, because it's a big quote, but like, if you think action creates clarity, and that one stuck with me a lot lately, because sometimes I'm fearful to make the wrong choice, but I won't know if it's the wrong or right choice. The choice. So listening to your gut, making those choices, and knowing that like I'm still figuring it out as I go. And one of the biggest things I've had to work on, and the biggest thing I talk to other entrepreneurs about, like we joke about it all the time, is it's 100% like mindset. It's 100% to not give up on yourself, to believe in yourself. Don't compare anybody in the other lane. Like, since I've started, I've seen more and more like ads for other apparel companies, and it's super cool, and I didn't know existed. But like, I'm excited for them. There's no competition in my mind, because there are so many people in Idaho that love Idaho, and I'm rooting on everybody that wants to start an apparel business. I've had people reach out to me and say, I want to print shirts and I don't know how. And I'm like, let's go to coffee. Like, I will tell you what I've done. I will tell you my mistakes. Don't make what I did. And I wish I had somebody to mentor me like that. So, reach out to me if you have questions ever. But also just know that like, really what your mind thinks, your eyes will see. And that's a big one I've had to stick with a lot lately. Like, if I just try to stay positive and know like, this is hard work. It's paying off. And when you can let go and enjoy the journey that way, and also just stay positive. It's 100% mindset. And so yes, it's going well, but just know, like, I still have those same struggles, and it's a constant reminder to like keep going. And I think that's the biggest thing entrepreneurship is, dive even more into like where my mind goes and how to make it stay positive.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a great answer. That's a very deep and good answer.
I did.
Yeah, I think it's important because, like you said, I feel like when people see reels or they see Instagram, it's all kind of edited, right? Like it's edited content. Even obviously, my own content is edited, and so when people don't see the mistakes always, it's sometimes hard to forget that there's a person behind the brand and behind the product, in your case. And so it's a good reminder that when you are shopping locally and when you are shopping with smaller brands, it's not, it's not an Amazon warehouse. You're putting a lot of love and thought and care into this product. And if mistakes are made, realizing that there's a person on the other side who's, still learning and just trying to make things work, which I think is very valuable and a very good reminder for people who do live in the Valley and shop locally, that everyone's human, everyone's going to make mistakes, but giving people some grace and also recognizing that everyone's learning as they go. I feel like we're all faking it till we make it kind of mentality.
I feel like I like what I'm doing, but I don't know if you will, because you're probably, and the world's changing, the economy's changing a little bit, social media is changing. They say, like what people's attention span. So it's like you're constantly kind of keep up. And then at some point you also just have to kind of do what you can do and let it go and know that the universe is going to, manifest stuff. It'll just be. So
huge believer in manifesting. If you put positivity out there, it usually comes back, right?
I think so too. That's what it's like. It's just going to happen. The world will take,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I don't have any other questions. It was so fun. This interview was awesome. Thank you for everyone who's on here. Kaysi agreed to be my first guest ever. I feel like I got this idea spontaneously after watching, because I love buying locally, and I, watch so many other people making this content, and I really want to start to get to know the people behind the content, because again, you're like me, where it's like I'm just kind of faking it till I make it. And
you're doing amazing stuff though on your channel. I love it.
Oh, thank you. So thank you so much, Kaysi. And I am going to turn the comments on for a few minutes just because I turned them off so I didn't get distracted. But I will turn the comments on, and see just if anyone wants to comment anything before we end the show. But yeah, I really appreciate you being here, Kaysi.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I'm excited. Thanks for the opportunity. This was fun. It was fun for me to reflect about my business. I loved it.
And just so everyone knows, and Kaysi, this will be archived on our story. So if you didn't get to watch the whole thing, if you're tuning in now and you want to hear Kaysi's whole story, that will go on both of our Instagram channels as a long reel. And so we'll do that. And then Kaysi, can you see all the comments?
You, Ashley. Thank you so much, friend. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, Michelle.
And so, yeah, thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in. Thank you for all the love. And I am going to log us out. But Kaysi, have a great night. And it was so fun talking with you.
Bye.